isn't there to love about working on the show? We get to work in these beautiful sets. This year felt really special because the world shut down. And Bill Groom is a legend with the production design.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
And being able to come back into this bubble and escape the world at large and time travel back to the 60s and laugh, it felt so good.
Let's see some tits and ass!
I'm the person who's in charge of the physical look of the show, as opposed to the photographic look. Somebody once described me as a method production designer. I have always enjoyed inhabiting the sets once they're finished. Everything we do comes from the mind of writer-directors. Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino. And they write the best scripts. We know each other well enough that there's a shorthand. As an art department, we start with the drawings, and then we have a computer-generated model also. We build on stage here, around 30 sets for almost every episode. Moist and Shirley's house was shot at a location in Forest Hills, Queens last year, so we've matched that interior down to the hardware and the window panes. Everything's the same size, so it feels very familiar to walk in here.
That moment when you look out the front door, we really wanted to feel the distance that we had in Forest Hills. We're gonna have cars here when we shoot.
It's always kind of a delight to get to come to set and sort of see every nook and cranny as though we're actually inside of a real-world environment.
This is the biggest build I've ever worked on. They've told us loud and clear that they need access to 14 sets. And so we're into hundreds of people by the time we're really up and running.
Biggest challenge this season is the Wolford Strip Club. It becomes a home for Midge in terms of her work life.
You're almost as funny as the men comics. We're gonna work on that.
I think the decision to build that Broadway theater really was because there was a point when we weren't sure that we were going to be able to shoot on location for many months in New York because of COVID restrictions, and it made sense to have it here at the studios.
Theater's been dark for a year at that point, and it feels like a piece of the heartbeat of New York is missing, and Bill Groom brought it to life. It was really emotional.
You're the cheap seats!
That chandelier is from Breakfast at Tiffany's?
This chandelier is called Big Bertha.
It was the largest chandelier we could find.
When it came in its cradle from California, it weighed 1,300 pounds.
Very exciting to have this piece of cinema history.
Backstage, if you look at the ceiling, there's like water stains in the corners. On the floor, you see like little portions of linoleum. None of it's real, but it tells such a story.
Talked about it early on with Amy and Dan. We have shown them the model. It came from their ideas. They're imagining that this was once a vaudeville theater. Then it became a strip club at some point. The color palette of this place, there are two layers, the old layer of the vaudeville, and then the more recent layer, closer to 1960, is the strip club. Pink satin draped around and all of that. It's this very tall ceiling, more than 50 feet. Also built an orchestra pit, so takes a complicated process and makes it even more complicated.
I always walk in here trying to figure out how the hell we're gonna do it, but we always do. The reason that I like working on this show is I think this is the hardest show in town, and that's why I'm here.
It feels like magic, and they create that.
Yeah, it's fucking fabulous.